Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to continue with our learning journey material management exercise 34, execute evaluated receipt settlement. So from the last time we already run an MRP, this material request planning. We also create purchase requisition out of it and convert them automatically into a purchase order. And this step we are going to execute an evaluated receipt, which means that we receive the goods from a supplier, and we based on that we probably create an invoice from our own. That is the topic for today, and I think that it should also be the last exercise that I will do for this series, because the other three 35, 36, and 37, they are poor analytics apps inside procurement, which I not really interested into, rather than the business process that we are doing. So also planning for the new learning journey, either SD or TM intermediate course, but we will see. So for anyone who is new, my name is Anh. A junior SAP consultant. I'm learning myself different logistic modules inside SAP S/4HANA private cloud, and want to share with you guys my learning journey. Hope that you might find something helpful for your projects or day-to-day operations. So without further saying, let's get into it. So the business example is that we need to enter a good receipt for the purchase order that was created previously, and afterward we execute an evaluated receipt settlement. First, we need to verify that a task code checkbox for good receipt-based invoice verification and automatic good receipt settlement are set in our purchase order item create from the previous exercise. Use a manage purchase order app and do not exist the app at the end of task. Alright, manage purchase order app. Alright, let me log into the system. Oh, my bad, sorry, not this one. So the app they want us to see is the manage purchase order app. Manage purchase order app. Yes, should be the one. And the purchase order that we have created from the last exercise is this one. Let me search for it. And here's our purchase order, which we have converted automatically from the purchase requisition. So let us see. We probably need at the items level and see if there anything that we need to check. So I think the tax is 10%, which is good, but for other tax code checkbox for good receipt based invoice verification and automatic good receipt settlement. All right. So what do we have here? We have I think we don't have much. Okay, here. So the reference object info record update. All right, not something that we need. We have the tax code only or 10%, but we don't have the indicator that we needed. Not sure if this is the application that we should look into, but good receipt based invoice verification and automatic good receipt settlement. I think normally I got this from the purchase info record, but yeah, not sure that we can have something like this inside the purchase order item, but let us see. Yeah, to be honest, I only see the tax. I don't see the other thing. Um, yeah, unfortunately so. Status detailed. All right, nothing that we have here. I think they recommended to look into the item, but to be honest, I haven't seen anything regarding indicator. Maybe we just search for it. Ah, okay. So my bad. Somehow now we see it now in the process control. Maybe with my scrolling, we skip this tab so we can see we have a good receipt control, yes. Evaluated good receipt ban is yes. Good receipt based in verification is yes. So I think we're good to go. Next step is that we will enter the good receipt for our purchase order directly from this app. Using this information. All right. I think we just a good received. And they told us that we should directly do it from here. Not know how exactly that we can navigate to it. If I click on edit, if do we have any more options? Not particularly. So yes, so I will just click on this and put good receipt for purchasing document. The delivery note which we have is DN9108. Document this is today. Yes, this is today. The material is E591. The quantity is proposed by the system. Install location 001. Material, I think. Yeah. Anything else? Yes, I will keep on applied. 300 pieces that we need to put the good receipt for. And we will post it. So I will note down my material number. And settle the good receipt enter yesterday and today for the supplier in the company code 1010. A separate invoice should be created for each purchase order item. First, make sure in test mode that you have made a correct selection and carry out the automatic settlement, and make a note of the document number. You can optionally open the invoice and display the data. Alright, so after we receive this, we should search for the good receipt that we received yesterday and today for the supplier in the company code 1010, and separate invoice created for each purchase order item. Alright, let us see how we can handle it. I will come back to Launchpad, probably in the processing invoice. We have this create evaluated received, and I will search for company code 1010. Good received posting date is from yesterday to today, and the supplier is the TS50C91. Anything else? A separate invoice should be created for each purchase order item. Alright, let me go with the test run, and we see document selection. Per purchase order item. Okay, so we the automatically document selection is that we create the evaluated receipt settlement, and we do it per purchase order item, which is probably mentioned here. Invoice should be created for each purchase order item. Yes. So now we first make the test run first with this one, test run, and execute. As you can see, I have purchase document number, reference document number, delivery reference, and item 10, also only one. Alright. Then I will deselect the test run and we will execute it. Let's see what happened. So now I have already an invoice, which is just newly created. If I click on it, then we see the invoice number. Okay, come again. Okay, not sure why the copy doesn't work from my side. I will just copy it from here. I think it should be easier. And paste here. Alright. So we will, yes, we will open the data and see what happens. So the invoice date, posting date, reference, amounts, and then 10% of the tax, including, so I think 45,000 in total. With 10% of tax, we have 49,500 euros. The vendor is here. We have the purchase reference, material, contract reference, asset. And here on the left side, we see the purchase order structure from the supplier to the purchase order item, and then to the delivery note, which we then do the good receipt and also this invoice that we have here. So I think pretty straightforward. And I think this should be the invoice that we create on our own and send it to the to our supplier. Not sure if we see it as self-billing, but this is like an evaluated settlement. Yes, not sure if after we send it to the supplier, will they confirm and send us the actual invoice. But yes, that is what we understand it from this evaluated receipt settlement. If we look into the exercise solution, it should be, yes, I think pretty straightforward what we have done. Nothing so complicated here for this exercise only. Maybe we see more of it once we do the other course of in the learning journey of maybe the next upcoming one, I think, because we have now finished the first course. We explore the business process in sourcing and procurement. The next time I think we'll go into a more comprehensive insight by configuring and use the relevant master that we created to do some specific requirement, I think for customer or something like that, and then come to inventory and invoice verification, and of course the cross-functional customizing for material management. Yep, it's a long journey that we need to go through. Not sure if I will finish this first hand or we might come back to transportation management, or maybe lean onto some extended warehouse management, because those all are really related into the logistic modules. But we will see. So that could be it for this learning journey that we have done here. Thank you very much for following me throughout this course. It costs like 17 hours to read the theory. I think I skipped part of it, but it costs like much more hours to do all the exercise that we done from SAP GUI and the organizing structure, do all the basics functionalities like create purchase order, good receive, invoice, uh, by the Theory Launchpad, simplify app. Then we do all the um, master data from the supplier material, um, and also the purchase info record, which we then combine them and create into a purchase order of all the master data we have created. Afterward, of course, we post a good receive, and this time we know the difference between the standard price and moving average price of the material. This is not the price that we receive from the supplier, rather that is the evaluation um, that we got internally for our good receive, um, for financial accounting. Yes. And of course then we gone through the purchase requisition with account assignment, um, which we see that we don't post anything to stock, um, and also the account was not updated at all, and also the evaluation of the material in the master data. Afterward, we create a purchase order requisition and so on, a lot of things, and then we came with the original old-fashioned transaction of ME51N, ME21N. They call it advanced transaction, but it's, for me, it's the old-fashioned way in SAP GUI. But I also believe this is also really details more in advanced way than the simplify app that we have in SAP GUI, in Theory Launchpad, which they have different apps for the same purpose. Some are simplified, some are complicated, which replicate the one that we have in SAP GUI. But I think I still prefer working in SAP GUI now at the moment. I think because of the projects, I'm more familiar with that. I think only transportation we mainly do it in Theory Launchpad. The other are mainly in SAP GUI. And yes, we do some sources supplied, and then convert automatically the purchase order requisition into order, and of course goods movement Migo, and then Miro for invoice posting, and do the material planning request. And finally we do some evaluated receipt settlement. So pretty pretty many things, different things that we have done. We learn a lot, I think, from this learning journey that we do in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I myself learned pretty much and developed myself into this. I know some basic things that in which we have. So maybe someday when I do projects with not in but integrate to it, I know some common ground to talk with the college. So yeah, pretty happy that I have done it. I hope that you also enjoyed something in this learning journey, and stay tuned. We see each other in the next learning journey. Maybe a quick heads up. Next week I will be at a customer on-site in Waldorf, the SAP headquarters, so for the whole week. That is the reason why I don't have time in the evening to create videos, and I will be back, I think, in 2 weeks. Afterward, I will decide which learning journey I will be doing up to. It might be TM, it might be TM, the intermediate course, or it might be SD. some relevant to outbound delivery or maybe EWM. It depends on the needs that I got from my projects. But yes, obviously also from you guys, if anything, if anyone who has watched me the whole time from these two learning journeys, TM foundation course and MM foundation course, yes, your opportunity. Feel free to jump in if you find something that you needed. I will consider it and we will align somehow. So thanks again. I think this is the last time I say thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.